So, this morning, EcoBank Transnational Incorporated, headquartered in Lomé, the Togolese capital, but listed in Lagos, Accra, and Abidjan. The BRVA market issued a statement to the market saying that the Pan-African Banking Group has mandated Deutsche Bank, Renaissance Capital, Standard Bank, and Standard Chartered Bank as joint lead managers to issue a 5-year, $50 million senior unsecured bond offering to the market. According to EcoBank Transnational ETI, the issue of this 5-year, $50 million senior unsecured bond offering is rated B and B minus by Fitch Ratings and S&P respectively. According to the bank, the proceeds from this $50 million will be used for ETI's general corporate purposes. Reading to you part of paragraph 1 of this very 3-page statement issued this morning, and you can find that. So EcoBank International is doing a $50 million 5-year bond offering and mandated 4 international investment banks to do that offering. So let's trade the news on customs trade, the stock market. So let's get Temple Ashajuba in the conversation to wrap up the show for us this morning from the Stock Exchange studios in downtown Lagos. Temple, good morning. Yes, Temple, what's in the news this morning? Quickly. What's everyone talking about on the floor?
Well, it still has to do with MTN, the fact that the price is going lower day by day. I mean, it's down right now by some 0.69%. But if you look at the volume of the transaction on it, it's lower compared to what we had about this time yesterday. However, our brokers are still trying to buy into it because they do believe that it remains a good company with fundamentals, and any day, any time, whatever happens, they will still be able to make some money on the shares of MTN. But generally, the market is not in a good mood. It's down some 0.14%.
Okay, so the MTN story is still there, but do you think it's beginning to, the noise around the entire issue with the EFCC, and do you think it's beginning to evaporate, as it were, and folks don't mind, well, if it was at 150, 155, whatever, 149, 148, when buy low, sell high? Do you think this is what everyone is looking at right now? This company is big, it's what, several trillions of naira. Sure. You can't ignore MTN, whichever way you look at it.
Sure, you can. You can't ignore MTN, Bosun. I mean, that's the sentiment in the market right now. You get it at a lower price right now, and then you can sell it at a higher rate later. Don't forget, it has some high projection before now, some very, very good upside. And a lot of traders here still really believe that that is something that is very, very attainable with MTN still in the market. They do say that whatever issues they have with the regulators or with whoever can be handled externally. But right here, we will continue to buy. What we're just seeing is that the institutional investors looks to be distancing themselves from it. Instead, we're seeing more of the retail investors, keying into it. So perhaps by the time the institutional investors do get involved, I mean, by then the rates would have been increased, and it will be an opportunity for the retail investors to take some profit and edge out.
Yeah, the market was down yesterday. Let's step back a little bit, Temple, because MTN and Dangote Cement, the 2 big elephants in the room, and a few others went down. But if you look at the banking sector, was up a decent 1.02%, and their cousins, insurance, manage about 0.04%, which begin to show, do you think, a market breadth of positive sentiments coming back into the market now that the big boys are stepping down a little bit on the counter in terms of price. The banks were up.
So the bank's prices were really low. I mean, last week, if you look at the weekly valuation, I mean, it was really negative. It was negative in terms of the indices. And so resuming trading this week, it was a good one for investors, for traders here to buy into, because again, I mean, the prices have really gone lower. So there was bargain hunting across some counters, and of course that gives some re-entry, and that's why the banking sector, as we speak, is also up at this point in the market. And of course, you have a bit of backlogs from yesterday that are beginning to reflect on the chart on the trading charts or portal of the exchange as we speak. So that's why it's up. The prices are low, and it's an opportunity for investors to key into it. For the insurance side of things, because again, the recapitalization process has commenced, and even though we haven't heard much from operators, although some analysts have been criticizing that plan, the recapitalization plan, saying that it's too high and all of that. Well, we are seeing some investors quickly buying into it to see whatever happens eventually. You have a couple of companies like Sovereign Trust Insurance that have some kind of primary market activities around them. That also has one of the reasons why it is contributing to the indices of the insurance sector boosting.
Yes, Temple tomorrow is a public holiday. The stock is a national public holiday, so the Nigerian Stock Exchange doors will be closed. You won't be there tomorrow, and by this time, I'm sure the old inauguration ceremony will be on at our political capital, Abuja. So we'll all be there watching. So all our viewers in Nigeria, around the world, it's a public holiday tomorrow in Nigeria, as it were. So let's get back together on Thursday and continue the conversation from here as we're beginning to wrap up the month of May. Thank you so much, Temple Ashaju, live to us from the trading floor at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And then when we come back, we'll talk about that big story on Thursday. Dangote Cement retains his position as the most admired brand in Africa for the 2017-2018 period. That was the report that came out just a few days ago. How did this company that stepped out into Africa less than 10 years ago becomes the #1 brand that consumers remember its name when it is mentioned? Dangote Cement. We'll talk about that on Thursday when we come back. The road has been traveled by Aliko Dangote and this Nigeria's multi-trillion naira listed company. Let's leave it there, folks, everyone. Have a great day. Join us for the inauguration party tomorrow. I'll be there. Oh, here in Lagos. Thank you, everyone. See you.